Hello, my name is Arjan Timmerman. I'm here with my colleague Max Mortillaro, and we're at Cisco Live in Barcelona for Tech Field Day Extra. And we heard a lot today. We already did one video, right? And we're going to do another one. And I think we should talk about single panes of glass. Is it pane with AI or A-N-E? What is it?
I think it's both, but it's a pane and not just in the glass. If you see what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. It's. I think for the IT operator, for the admin, whatever, it's the bane of our existence. And everybody comes up with a single pane of glass, and every vendor presents their thing, which I think is a low-level effort. Building a user interface. And the compelling one is that is a great thing, but my God, if you have to work with so many interfaces and you keep jumping all over the place, then I think it's counterproductive. So
Yeah, so I was at Storage Field Day last week, and at a certain moment in time, there was a vendor speaking, and I think it was the third or the fourth pane of glass that they mentioned, but every time they said single pane of glass, and I was like, yeah, but this is the fourth single pane of glass that you're talking about. That's not how it works. If you do a single pane of glass, do a single pane of glass in which the company that gets your single pane of glass can utilize, and maybe there's layers underneath it, but if you can use it from one interface, you can at least do it that way. And what you said, a lot of the companies are creating a single pane of glass, and there's no such thing as a company that uses only one vendor's product.
yeah, so I think I'm thinking out loud here. Of course, there are several reasons why, right? So it can be because a company was invested in another company, they acquired something that was already a UI, and so they're trying to integrate it or to fix it. I think first of all, organizations, I mean, big vendors, I'm not going to name a lot of them, but you say the Dells and the NetApps and the Ciscos of this world. I think they should really, and even the VMwares of this world, they should really try to build a common interface or something, like a base module where you add plugins. Microsoft did that actually. You remember the MMC? And you had the plugins there, and you manage whatever interface you want to do one single place. And I think it makes more sense. And all the other thing, and it's I don't know if it's $1 million startup idea, if it's something really dumb, but some vendor or some organization, some startup could come up with a concept that they are trying to present as much things as they can. Of course, it's a titanic amount of work. You need to have customers for that, and you need to get paid in the end. But everything is API driven these days. So why don't you just pull the information from the APIs and build modules or interfaces that help you kind of customize this experience, right?
Totally agreed on. And for that, I think we heard some stuff at Cisco as well today, where I was kind of interested to see that they are working again with Cisco first, and I understand that because that is what they know best. But they told us that they are really looking into the infrastructure with API-driven monitoring, which they called Cisco Workload Optimizer, and it was it's from Intersites, so it's an Intersites. I think it's an Intersites plugin or something like that, and I really was impressed by what they did with it. Again, there's always work to be done, but I was really impressed by that piece of technology.
Absolutely. I think, and we're going to have a video covering either side specifically, but I think the bottom line is if you're a vendor and you're building a kind of management or kind of a management or capacity management, capacity monitoring, or you're building any kind of capabilities which relates to the customer's infrastructure, and especially if you're targeting the enterprise world, you need to be aware that all of the environments are going to be heterogeneous. You're not going to have just one single vendor. So building something which supports your entire vendor stack makes sense because, of course, you want to make sure that the customer can manage everything. But limiting yourselves to that is to me, it's kind of a slap in the face of the customer. I mean, maybe it's a rude way to put it that way, but I think that you're making your customers, you want to help the customer, and you're making his life miserable because now he needs to install a new interface and he has to jump from here to there and so on. So be open. That's my message.
I think so. I think that would be the greatest thing to give the community, to give the customers, is something that we can really utilize for this kind of monitoring and keeping track of what's going on in our data centers. So totally agreed on that one. I think we leave it with that.
Absolutely.
And see us in the next episode of the Tech Unplugged Videocast. See you.
See you.